Going to China was an incredible experience. Mary Frances and I learned more in Beijing and China than we ever thought imaginable. It was very different from what we had expected, only because it is so different from what we grew up knowing. It was fascinating to take the time to learn and compare these two countries in the weeks that we were in China. We came back with so much more knowledge than we ever anticipated. This video is going to highlight some of those cultural differences that we saw between the two cities and the things that we learned while being there, and how they're very different from the things that we do in the United States.
Beijing is home to nearly 22 million people and holds some of the world's most widely known ancient historic sites. Not only is it the resting place for past notable emperors and respected leaders, but also the location of many of their elaborate homes and temples. Beijing is the heart of traditional Chinese culture, including many ancient practices as well as religion and cuisine. Many differences between the United States and China can be seen in these well-established and long-rooted traditions. Tai Chi, a practice based on the philosophy of yin and yang, focuses the mind solely on movements and form to help bring about a state of mental calm and clarity. This, in theory, is different from many U.S. forms of exercise and training that focus mostly on strength and agility. Many other practices, like Tai Chi, are grounded in philosophy and the ways of life. This still has a presence in modern-day China and can still be seen through the interactions between people today. Another major part in understanding Beijing is its cuisine. Located in northern China, many of the meals revolve around wheat flour, a popular ingredient grown in the area. This contributes to food like dumplings, steamed buns, and white rice. Another popular food in Beijing is Peking duck. This is very much a staple in Beijing culture. The way food is shared is family-based, meaning many sharing plates. This is yet another difference in culture. In the United States, you will most likely order yourself a dish individually. In Beijing, in most places in China, many dishes are set on the table and shared among members. Beijing is a beautiful and historic city and foundational to understanding much of China's culture.
Although Shanghai is very similar to Beijing in some of its cultural aspects, like the way that they serve their food or how rooted they were in their history, there are still some key differences between them. Shanghai is the most populated city in the world with over 24 million people in it. Just to put that into perspective, the entire state of Texas has 28 million people. This was so interesting to learn because I could not imagine having 24 million people just in the city of Dallas alone. It was really cool listening to our tour guides tell us the ways they manage their population. Some of the things that they did were restricting certain cars from driving on certain days to prevent overcrowding on the highways. This is something that we never really worry about in the United States because our population, while in some cities and states is very large, we are not cramming that many people into one city. Similar to Beijing, it is very rooted in its history. Shanghai has been a market city since the 11th century, and it is now the trading center of the world. We were able to see just how amazing their trading system was when we went and saw the port of Shanghai, which is the largest port in the world. They have been able to become very successful as a trading city due to their location on the coast and it being located along the Yangtze River Delta. One of the most interesting differences in Beijing and Shanghai are how being this major port city has led it to become the financial city of China which has then led it to become very modern and very technologically advanced. Shanghai houses some of the tallest buildings in the world, and it currently houses the second tallest building in the world in Shanghai, which is over 2,000 feet tall. Shanghai was very impressive with their architecture and everything that they are doing with technology. It truly made Mary Frances and I feel like we were behind in the United States. I was always under the impression that we were one step ahead of everyone, but being in China, we really got to experience and see how we are not. Many of the things that we saw in China are on such a grander scale than they are here in the U.S., and it was so amazing to see how they're able to do all of this and make it very functional for their country. While we were very surprised with some of the things that we saw in China, it was such an amazing experience, and I would go back in a heartbeat just to learn some more about the country.